week to make an appearance on here, or the guest, listen to me, or the guest is going to be in big trouble. I'm telling you that right now, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody promises Simon Feck that they're coming on and they don't come on. If you don't come on the show, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I'm talking to you. I asked you to come on the show. You said you would come on the show. Now, all of a sudden, it's ghost time for Simon Feck, ladies and gentlemen. It won't be a good thing. It won't be a good thing if you don't come on the show. Let me tell you that right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're having a slow start tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Usually we're 17 deep, ladies and gentlemen. We're sitting down at even 2. Big stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe we'll just wait a minute. Maybe we'll just wait and see. See what happens with the big news, ladies and gentlemen. We got, what is this? MMA consultant, ladies and gentlemen, appears to be in love with Mila Stoner, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to tell you, that's not Mila Stoner on the thumbnail. Their MMA consultant. You're in love with a voice, I guess, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, what's the gig, man? I mean, I don't understand you guys. You're in love with a thumbnail or something. I don't know, cartoon thumbnail, voice. It's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. But we got some big news tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Some big crazy news, ladies and gentlemen. Primetime says, ladies and gentlemen. Where did you get that from, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, yeah, Touch. Touch, he's got a white shirt on this time. What does that mean, Touch? Doesn't have the blue shirt on, the yellow shirt on. He's got a white shirt on, ladies and gentlemen. What kind of show is that going to be, ladies and gentlemen? And then right here, I'm going to say this is Vinny. I'm going to say this is Vinny, ladies and gentlemen. Calls me Mr. Feck, ladies and gentlemen. He's got the John Adams little thumbnail there, ladies and gentlemen. And then we got right here, this is Brand Hedonic. Brand Hedonic says that he says that he's busy, ladies and gentlemen. He told Touch to go play with his woman, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's sound advice if you ever ask me, ladies and gentlemen. Why don't you go play with your wife? He's busy. He's going to be at Simon Feck's chat tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I guess Brandon's used to being, I don't know, banned or something, ladies and gentlemen. I've only been banned once, and that was in that guy, the guy from the middle of the country, on his chat and shit like that. Never been banned before. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to wrap the show up, ladies and gentlemen. Does anybody out there know who Mike Finch is, ladies and gentlemen? Anybody know who Mike Finch is, ladies and gentlemen? Mike Finch. What's up, Feck? There's A Change. Now, look at your name there, A Change. Look at your name. Look at that ranch right there. You didn't even have to buy it, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't even have to buy that ranch, ladies and gentlemen, because Simon Feck sells the ranch, ladies and gentlemen. It's the only second mod ever. And if you don't want it, ladies and gentlemen, you can sell it. You know what I'm saying? All right, listen. Mike Finch. The buddy with AJ, the MMA experts, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Finch goes around training people. Now, this is a rumor. Listen, let me rephrase this, ladies and gentlemen. There's rumors going around, ladies and gentlemen, and I, Simon Feck, am going to try to clear up the rumors for you, ladies and gentlemen. And no, Mike Finch is not, listen to me, Mike Finch is not harboring terrorists, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Finch, those two guys that got arrested, two guys that hate the UFC, that train MMA style there, ladies and gentlemen, under Mike Finch, on Mike Finch's team, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Finch picked a guy to be on his team, ladies and gentlemen. He was one of the two people arrested for the terrorism that was about to happen on the South Lawn at UFC Freedom 250, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. MMA experts buddy Mike Finch training one of the two guys on his team, ladies and gentlemen. How is Mike Finch training these guys? Why do these guys love MMA? They love the UFC, and then they turned. Why is Mike Finch's program turning people? If Mike Finch's program did turn people. That's what the rumor is going around, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not insinuating anything, ladies and gentlemen. But Mike Finch, yes, I know Mike Finch says A changed. I seen him. I feel so special. I feel so special. Oh, for the wrench. All right, cool. Very good. The only other person was Western for a little while. And then Western fell in love with Mila Stoner. And he's never even seen her. He fell in love with Mila Stoner. And then I told him, to beat feet, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you can like somebody and everything, but not fall in love with somebody else, Okay. Yeah, so Mike Finch, one of the two guys that got arrested, Mike Finch trained the guy at MMA, ladies and gentlemen, not being a terrorist, ladies and gentlemen, and was on his team. Mike Finch picked the guy. Now, this is one of the two guys arrested that were going, supposedly with other people too involved, to go shoot up to terrorize people with flying drones. And hey, I just want to know Mike Finch's program, why he's changing people. I'm not insinuating anything. It's not association by whatever, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't change that one there, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. I guess we're going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Listen to me. So I am going to be going to UFC 329, Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be going out to Vegas out there. I have to work certain events, but I also am like Giuliani Argentini, ladies and gentlemen. I have a sleep deprivation or whatever the hell it is, ladies and gentlemen. I only sleep at night, ladies and gentlemen. If I'm not working, I'm going to be out and about, videoing, ladies and gentlemen, doing some streams, ladies and gentlemen, hanging out with friends of mine. Argentini said he's not going to show up. Now he's going to show up, ladies and gentlemen. If you want Argentini's autograph, go out to UFC 329, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. Very interesting, says A Change 999, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Very interesting, he says. Very interesting. Now, I don't know what I'm supposed to work with there. Very interesting. About the Mike Finch thing or about going out to, Vegas 329, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man, I'm just telling you, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. So I'm going to be going out there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be going I'm going to be going to Sean Strickland's house, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be hanging out. I'm going to be going to the Fighter Hotel. I'm going to be going to a couple secret Fighter hotels, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be working Media Day on Wednesday. I'm going to be working Power Slap, ladies and gentlemen, which is, it sold out the fastest of any Power Slap so far, ladies and gentlemen. Sold out in minutes, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to go to Power Slap now and you don't have your ticket, it's about $800. Normally, it would be like $35 to $75 to $100, ladies and gentlemen. Then I'm going to be going, the red carpet. And unfortunately, there's not going to be UFC X this year, ladies and gentlemen, because some president had to have a birthday, ladies and gentlemen. Kind of mix things up. But I'm going to be going out there. I'm going to be hanging out with Sean Strickland. I'm going to be going to Extreme Couture, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna be riding motorcycles with Sean Strickland, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna be going to the Gummy Gang, or no, it's called Holes Fest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna be going to a couple events for Holes Fest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna be there, showing up in place of Moss at Holes Fest 2026, the very first one, ladies and gentlemen. The very first one. I'm going to be in place of Moss, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be hanging out with Jay Beers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be hanging out with 2 joints, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be hanging out with 2 beers and 2 joints, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So anyways, you just got to figure, why are people turning at UFC gym, at the UFC gym, ladies and gentlemen, out in Huntington Beach, where Mike Finch trains people, ladies and gentlemen. On Mike Finch's team, one guy turned terrorist, ladies and gentlemen. Wanted to do harm to the UFC community, ladies and gentlemen, at Washington, D.C. Freedom 250, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Finch has everything in order, ladies and gentlemen. He acts like he's got everything in order, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe he needs to look around and see what people are up to, ladies and gentlemen. Did the man have any signs? You know what I'm saying? With Gummy Gang Feck meetup. Oh, Gummy Gang Feck meetup, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I was talking to Douglas Memo, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be hanging out with Douglas Memo. We're going to be hanging out with Douglas Memo, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck's going to be getting in some trouble, ladies and gentlemen. And Sean Strickland, imagine that. Woo, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to be hanging out with my buddy Randy Couture, too, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's for real, too. Going to be hanging out with him and Sean Strickland, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a good one, ladies and gentlemen. So I moved. I haven't gone live in like a week. So I moved. This is the 3rd time the Simon Feck studio has moved. So the Simon Feck studio had to move. It was put like in a storage area for almost like a week or however long. And then I was only able to start setting it up this morning, ladies and gentlemen. So it's not fully put together. And this is going to be the permanent spot for Simon Feck, ladies and gentlemen. There's the MMA Cam, ladies and gentlemen. The MMA Cam, the man with the thickest skin in the community, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you that right now, ladies and gentlemen. I was going back recently listening to MMA Cam on, I don't know if it was the clown show or it was a Mila thing or something like that. But also, Simon Feck knows that Cam has a thick skin, ladies and gentlemen. And some people claim that you must have a thick skin around here to be able to survive, ladies and gentlemen. And we found out some people just don't have as thick a skin as they thought they had, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the permanent situation here, which is going to be good news. Okay? Let's see what we got here, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, everything's not calculated out right. Like this light's hitting me in the head, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you know, I don't have very much help around here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. MMA Cam says that Simon Feck's in the White House, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let me use that one, ladies and gentlemen. What time is it? What time is it here, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know. I'll figure it out. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Feck here, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck Studios now has taken over. It is now inside the White House, ladies and gentlemen. Dana White has more pull than you thought, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody that got mad, ladies and gentlemen, you should get even madder now because Simon Feck Studios is now inside the White House, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine what Simon Feck will be bringing in the White House, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that Biden guy got away with a lot of stuff, putting stuff in the cupboard and everything like that, ladies and gentlemen. And also, I'm going to be trying to detect if Michelle Obama is actually Michael, ladies and gentlemen. You get me in trouble there, Cam. By the way, Cam is at work, ladies and gentlemen. Cam's listening. I think somebody just entered the greatest guy on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. I think Cam's got his little earplugs in, ladies and gentlemen. He's there. He doesn't fill gas between the glass, ladies and gentlemen. They don't do that there in New Zealand and the South Island, ladies and gentlemen. But Jock, your device, again, is not connected. If it indeed is Jock, you know. Here we go again. I think this is the same person that came in 28 times last time, and it's never connected. Other people get in here. I don't know, right? So you come in, and then you set up the microphone. I know you know how to do it. I'm just going through things, right? You set up the microphone, you set up the camera, and then you have to scroll sometimes, and you scroll, and you hit enter studio. I mean, that's all I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what to tell you. Where are all my thick skin brothers at, ladies and gentlemen? Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't want to be commenting on that one there, Cam. Ladies and gentlemen, a guy that doesn't know how to go to sleep, ladies and gentlemen. What time is it for him, ladies and gentlemen? It's like 4 a.m, ladies and gentlemen. No wonder the glitch guy has glitches, ladies and gentlemen. He's like Gilly, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't know when to go to sleep, ladies and gentlemen. Thin skin and fragile eagles all around in this community. You got that right, Bodach. When's Jock going to try to come in here? I know it's not Jock because Jock, he appears to get in other people's streams, ladies and gentlemen. So I thought Giuliani Argentini and Brandon Kay were going to come in, ladies and gentlemen. I've been a fan of Cam since the legendary freestyle battle with Mila. That's right. I just listened to that one too, right? So let me tell you something about that one too. I just listened to the freestyle one, and Cam was pretty good, yeah. So I just listened to it probably like 2 days ago. And that was Halloween night, but actually it was November 1st. Now, November 1st is a very important day in the MMA drama community, ladies and gentlemen. Why would you say, Simon Feck, that November 1st is a very important day, ladies and gentlemen? Number one, Simon Feck's first appearance on the Clown Show, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, Halloween night, ladies and gentlemen. Now, that's not so important. The second thing is the stream went on, ladies and gentlemen. This girl who went out with her friend, ladies and gentlemen. No names mentioned, ladies and gentlemen. She goes out with her friend. She says, hey, I just got back. It's my birthday, ladies and gentlemen. What is the day after October 31st, ladies and gentlemen? The day after October 31st happens to be November 1st, ladies and gentlemen. It's about 5 in the morning. Eastern time, ladies and gentlemen. To 7 in the morning Eastern time. Keeps coming up that this certain person's birthday is that day, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got to say, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my God, ladies and gentlemen. There's more of the kennel than a community. You got that right, Matua. And we got Bodak, ladies and gentlemen. I think I should put a trivia out there for Bodak, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, you might not know it, but Bodak or Bodak is a monster, ladies and gentlemen. Something like that. I can't remember what it is, ladies and gentlemen, but we don't have it over here in the United States, but I guess over there in England, it's like they're Bigfoot or something. What is it, Bodak? What are you? Thank you, A-Change. Oh, my God. There's a lot of love being spread around in here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my God. Holy smokes, ladies and gentlemen. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. This is like, there's a guy named the Clown, ladies and gentlemen. The Clown goes around and he says, hey, if you're going to be lurking, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be going out searching, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All right, so I moved the studio. This is very important too, ladies and gentlemen. I moved the studio, the Simon Feck studio. The Simon Feck studio started out in one room, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck's a musician, ladies and gentlemen. So there's this place, ladies and gentlemen, that has a bunch of rooms, right? For musicians, and they're all padded and everything like that. Like soundproof. And then you can hear the other music and the musicians and everything. So then I had to move it again. And then I moved it another time. And now here, the last time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in a whole new building, ladies and gentlemen. This one's permanent right here. There's been times where weeks, that's when I was doing the AI stuff. I didn't have any place to do my live streams. Well, in this sort of case, you know what I'm saying? Because I like to have the stupid stuff back here, right? I like to act like I'm doing something even though I'm not doing anything, ladies and gentlemen. Because if I'm not doing anything, I'm trying to figure out, who lives on the South Island, ladies and gentlemen. I am Alan, the locals confused as a demon, ladies and gentlemen. I am an alien. I can't see. That's another thing too, right? So I haven't set everything up in the studio. I have in front of me, over there, there's a big screen right there, and the letters would be bigger, and I can see them. I don't have that. I can't find that cable, ladies and gentlemen, for that one over there. Now I'm reading this little tiny stuff, and you got all this stuff on, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. What else we got here? Landscape one is better. Yeah, you were sitting over there by yourself, I guess. Bodach. Yeah. So you scoot over there. I mean, that's the first time in a long time. I've only done it a couple times with the vertical stream, ladies and gentlemen. It keeps going like 14 to 20, but then it keeps saying 1 every once in a while over there. Must be nobody over there, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, anyways, Mike Finch, right? Mike Finch thinks he's a big badass, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Finch wants to go around bragging to some. I don't know. Why would he be going around telling somebody that? And the way he told it. I mean, it's like he's trying to make it like clout or something like that. That ain't clout to me, ladies and gentlemen. If somebody was training underneath me like Giuliani, ladies and gentlemen, I would go, I don't know if he's actually training under me, but anyways. If that guy, I don't know what his name was. Let's say his name was David. If David was training underneath me, I wouldn't be going around just like a little piece of information telling somebody that this guy David trained underneath me and he got arrested for a foiled terrorist attack on UFC. What is it? Organization, ladies and gentlemen. Like all your friends. I mean, Mike Finch, you don't know anybody? Pissed. World Cup, more like World Butt, ladies and gentlemen. I see you guys in the what is it, the Discord, talking about all this soccer and everything, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you got Cam's a rugby guy, ladies and gentlemen. I heard him say that on the big wrap off, ladies and gentlemen. He said his family's more into, well, I don't know. I listened to 3 or 4 of them, ladies and gentlemen. Some of these Jimmy the Drunk ones before they all get taken down, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be a conspiracy to try to take Jimmy the Drunk down here real soon, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little sneak peek from behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen. Jimmy the Drunk's about ready to, I don't know, what is it? Jimmy the Drunk's getting ready to be in the defense, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me on that one, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. It's a short one. I just came in because I haven't been on in a week, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't. Somebody else is typing in. I didn't prepare anything, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't prepare anything. I just wanted to jump on real quick. Oh, we do got 18 high. Maybe I should talk about something, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a story about Cam, ladies and gentlemen. Cam, the South Islander guy. And I'm not talking about Matua, ladies and gentlemen, the island guy, ladies and gentlemen. Cam Hassel, ladies and gentlemen, he lives down there in Greenland, ladies and gentlemen. That Donald Trump was trying to buy Greenland. Well, Cam happens to be in Greenland, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. That's my big story, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Ladies, does Cam drink as much cum as people say he does? Ladies and gentlemen, Matua. Let me tell you something, Matua. Ladies and gentlemen, Cam is actually, listen. Cam is talent, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Cam is pure talent, ladies and gentlemen. Next time when Simon Feck comes on, he's going to have everything written out again, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to check in with everybody. The new location, ladies and gentlemen. And Giuliani Argentini was going to come on, ladies and gentlemen. And I thought Brandon Donick was going to come on, ladies and gentlemen. But listen, this is serious too. Okay, I've only asked one other like so-called famous person. Because I sort of had to like, what is it? I had a lot of trial and error with the costume and the voice thing. At first I had the voice way too loud, ladies and gentlemen. And then, people couldn't understand me and stuff. A lot of trial and error, ladies and gentlemen. And then I played around with the AI because I didn't have a studio for a little while, ladies and gentlemen. I had to make money, right? So I rent out space for bands and stuff. All right. So I had a lot of trial and error. So then I figured, I'd wait and then, I don't know, get my skills going on, I don't know, what is, like live streaming or whatever, even though I've done the radio interviews and everything, kind of got that down too. Like, all right. So I just feel comfortable now to start asking guests to come on the Simon Feck show and interview them, but not exactly like an interview. I sort of want to have a panel with them, right? So I asked the very first person I asked, right? There's one other guy, he's waiting. But I can't go around telling people exactly who I am, but everybody goes, oh, we know who you are, whatever, So I asked Dennis Sekuritov from Submission Radio, ladies and gentlemen, down there in the vicinity, even though it's a 4-hour, plane flight, in the vicinity of MMA Cam, ladies and gentlemen. And I asked Dennis if he would come on if I could interview him. He said yes. 3-4 days later goes by. I said, hey, in a couple days, whatever like that. Yeah, okay, yep, Dennis. Submission Radio. Yep, yeah, absolutely, Simon Feck. Yep, I'm coming on, Simon Feck. I'll be on, Simon Feck. I'll be there. About the night before, I check in with him. I said, okay, tomorrow it's whatever time, whatever. Yep, okay, yep. So for a week, I was writing out questions for Dennis Sekuritov, right? More than I needed, but I spent a lot of time on it. It was like, I don't know, 10, 13 days, something like that. The whole span of the thing. About an hour and a half before we're to go live with Dennis Sekuritov, he says, hey, look, I'm just a jobber. I'm a jobber in the MMA community. You don't want me on. So he went ahead and he checked out Simon Feck. And, I understand it, but don't say you're coming on. Don't just say, yeah, I'll come on. And then you look at what you just answered that you come on, right? So anyways, I make fun of Dennis Sekuritov. Well, we got another one now, ladies and gentlemen. He's probably watching right now too, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, dude, listen, since you're not getting back to me, and you got back to me a couple times and said that you're coming on the show, okay? You're probably watching right now going, who is this guy? What's up with this guy and everything, right? I think it's in your best interest to come on the show. You can ask MMA Cam. You can ask this guy in the middle of the country. You can ask a few other people. You can ask Dennis. Ask a whole bunch of people. I think it would be in your best interest to come on and we'll do a legit interview. Because if you don't come on, and I'm not I don't know, blackmailing or whatever. Like, I got a white T-shirt on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not blackmailing you or anything like that, but I'm just going to say Simon Feck's not going to take it very good if you don't come on the show and get interviewed. I got 2 other guys coming on to interview. It's going to be 3 of us. It is just going to be Simon Feck, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm just telling you right now, and he's a Hall of Famer too, ladies and gentlemen, and I know him personally. But he doesn't know that it's me, you know. So I'm just telling you, you're probably watching right now. It would be your best interest to come on the show and get interviewed by Simon Feck, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you don't come on and get interviewed by Simon Feck, ladies and gentlemen, Simon Feck's going to be on your case. Ask Dennis Shikuratov from Submission Radio, okay? So make sure, on Instagram, make sure you get a hold of Simon Feck. We got 2 legit interviewers going to interview you. Okay? Let's see what we got here, ladies and gentlemen. MMA Cam's talking to Matua, I guess. Matua, do you still drop acid and do prediction videos with Gio instead of spending time with your kids? Ladies and gentlemen, we got beef into the chat, ladies and gentlemen. MMA Cam's putting that big reach out from New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen, all the way out to the Cook Islands, ladies and gentlemen. Sup, Simon, says Tommy. There's Tommy, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Simon Feck? Simon Feck just moved this studio, ladies and gentlemen. Finally found a permanent spot, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck's gearing up, talking to, I gotta work 3/29 when I go out to Vegas. I was just gonna go out there to have fun. But Simon Feck's gearing up for 3/29, ladies and gentlemen. Gotta do some work, but I'm gonna be doing some streaming, ladies and gentlemen. Some people don't even know that they're gonna be in Simon Feck's stream because I'm gonna be showing up at some people's houses out there too, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. But anyways, listen, Matua, you don't want Cam after you, ladies and gentlemen. Them New Zealanders are known, ladies and gentlemen. Them New Zealanders, they go to laser tag, ladies and gentlemen. They go to laser tag on acid, ladies and gentlemen. They're like their friends. They get all together like, they're like 23, 4 years old, ladies and gentlemen. They like to gang up on little 8 and 10-year-olds, ladies and gentlemen. And Cam's taking it real serious too, ladies and gentlemen. He's looking at his hands. Cam's looking at his hands and going, these aren't my hands, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Simon Feck's looking at his hands, and I'm like, these aren't Black Crow hands, ladies and gentlemen. But MMA Cam was looking at his hands, and they didn't even think they were his hands, ladies and gentlemen. And he's going around laser tagging little 8 and 10-year-olds, ladies and gentlemen, in New Zealand, in the mean streets of New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Cam hasn't been the same since Oliver Tree died. I don't blame him. To be honest, ladies and gentlemen. Vinny was telling Cam to go ahead and get a mushroom growing. I don't know what the fuck it's called, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you have a great memory, Simon. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck, it's like an elephant brain, ladies and gentlemen. It's right in here. It's like this big, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bird brain, but it has a memory to it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So, so Cam, he goes around, he's dropping acid, ladies and gentlemen. He's never dropped it before, ladies and gentlemen. Right? So then they go to the laser tag, and it's got all the lights and everything. And Cam's wrong. Cam thinks he's actually in the bush, ladies and gentlemen, like in a war. And it's a bunch of these. He thought they were like midgets, ladies and gentlemen. He's out there with the laser gun, and he's trying to shoot all these midgets. But actually, they're like kids, like 8 and 10 years old. That was the opposing team, ladies and gentlemen. The opposing enemy, ladies and gentlemen. Cam going around on acid, shooting little kids, ladies and gentlemen, with a laser tag, ladies and gentlemen. There's Giuliani, ladies and gentlemen. We got Crow-brained in here, ladies and gentlemen. Crow-brained. Simon Feck's from Croatia, ladies and gentlemen, and don't you forget it, ladies and gentlemen. Croatia, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. And we got Giuliani Argentini, ladies and gentlemen. Incel Kennel, ladies and gentlemen. And then give me 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll just talk about MMA Cam for the next 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. MMA Cam, I would say MMA Cam loves rugby better than he does soccer, ladies and gentlemen. And people in the United States don't know that that's two different things, ladies and gentlemen. Rugby's for men, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, I went to France. Well, I think it was France. And I went to this guy's house. I think his name is Messi or something like that, ladies and gentlemen. I was hanging out with a big rock band, ladies and gentlemen, and we went to his house. his house there was like or was that Italy? I've been around the world so many times, I don't know. But it was like it was in Spain or France. I don't know which one it was, ladies and gentlemen, but we got off the tour bus, right? We go in, and it's like a shop at his house. There's like there's a merch place and everything. So we went into that guy's place, everything like that, ladies and gentlemen. So anyways, Cam's going around. He's on acid, ladies and gentlemen, and he thinks that these little kids are like, he thinks he's in the Vietnam War, ladies and gentlemen. A bunch of, little short guys like MMA consultant coming after him, ladies and gentlemen, from the Philippines, ladies and gentlemen. And then Cam is there, and he keeps looking at his hands, and he thinks that they're not even his hands, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know how he could take his hands, since they're not his hands, and take the laser gun and shoot these little kids, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, the place is called like Megatron or something like that. Mega Game or it's Mega something, ladies and gentlemen. It's right there in the South Island of New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? And by the way, Cam has lost his way with the community, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody can handle the Camster, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, there's another thing too. In 7 minutes, Giuliani Argentini is going to come in here, and you'll never hear Simon Feck say another word, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe Simon Feck should take a tab of acid, ladies and gentlemen, since he's never done it before, even though he's hung out, been around the world a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. And Simon Feck happens to. There's going to be a couple motorcycles out there, and they might be owned by Sean Strickland, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you've seen where Nina Drama was out. I don't know where she crashed a motorcycle with, Sean Strickland. I'm going to be going to that house out there. Sean Strickland says it's not his house, but that's the house I'm going to be going to. And we're going to be using those motorcycles in that garage. And Simon Feck's going to be out there with heat stroke and everything, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's called Mega Zone, but close, Feck. So Cam's at Mega Zone, right? Now, Mega Zone, it's right near the water, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? It's pretty close to the water. It's not like right on the water, but it's pretty close to the water, right? And it's got, a parking lot, right? and you walk up to the place, right? And it's got this big cover, like, like where you go up to like valet. It's got this outside big cover thing, right? And then when you go inside the place, right? You go in and there's a counter right in front of you, ladies and gentlemen. That's where all the people with acid go. And then they pay their money and then they go up against little 10-year-old kids, ladies and gentlemen. And then they think their hands aren't their hands and everything like that. And then there's air hockey in there, games and all kinds of stuff like that. That's where grown-up men go to play laser tag against little kids, ladies and gentlemen. And then they don't even take it easy on them either. Cam's rolling around like he's a 5-star general, ladies and gentlemen, in the New Zealand Army, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so if Giuliani's not going to come in, ladies and gentlemen, I don't do the 10-minute thing. Okay? They double. Is it single hung windows or double hung windows, ladies and gentlemen? Or is it fixed glass, ladies and gentlemen? Is it a prism, ladies and gentlemen? Is it a prism, ladies and gentlemen? Okay? Is it called a light, ladies and gentlemen? A side light, ladies and gentlemen, to a door or anything like that, ladies and gentlemen? So, what's his name? I got the report, ladies and gentlemen, of the what's his name? Idaho, ladies and gentlemen. Idaho broke his legs, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing lazy streams, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be the last time you ever see Idaho do something. What is his name, ladies and gentlemen? You're copying me. You're mimicking me, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, if I go ahead and mimic your name, ladies and gentlemen, I have made you in the community, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be a made man by Simon Feck, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be the day, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I guess I can't make people, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Worst stream ever, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck history, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Over and out, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Feck's going to go back to writing stuff down during the day, ladies and gentlemen. We got a new mod, ladies and gentlemen. His name is A-Change999, ladies and gentlemen. A-Change999 happens to not be here, ladies and gentlemen, because he's not typing in, ladies and gentlemen. And there it is. They're coming in like clockwork right now, ladies and gentlemen. The Brandonic and the Giuliani get ready to come up and team up and yell at each other, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, Simon Feck's going to call it a night, ladies and gentlemen. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Big open panel, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, that's not Mila Stoner. That's not Mila Stoner. On the thumbnail, ladies and gentlemen. That was one that the Gummy Gang pulled up and asking Doug if she looks like that and everything. Feck, don't do the dual stream again, broski. Okay. Yeah, is that what happened? Yeah. That's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. We got a double interest here, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, I didn't know it was set like that, and now I see it, ladies. Well, I mean, I seen it when it first started there, Brandonic. Yeah, you're confusing the algorithm. Took your people. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, because we didn't really hit the numbers that we've been hitting. Yeah, you're confusing the algorithm, and then this Simon Feck, how old were you when Buddy Holly died? Let's see, Buddy Holly died in about 1952, ladies and gentlemen. Or was it 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58? Man, I was a young one, ladies and gentlemen. Wasn't even born yet, ladies and gentlemen. You got me on that one. That's a funny one, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's mark this down as the worst Simon Feck stream of all time. What's good, bro? There's Ulysses. Let me tell. Okay. Let's see. Now I'm on your stream like a magician. What's good, bro? Ulysses, let me tell you something, man. Okay? So your stream said that you were live. Like I go on the internet and it said you were live. And it had the little red thing and everything. You must have just quit or something like that. So I go on there and I'm like, he's just sitting there. He ain't doing nothing. So I'm like, you know what? What is he reading? He ain't doing anything. But you put it. You ended the stream and you put it like, I don't know. I don't know what is the word? To members only or something like that. And I just snapped the picture. That's all. There ain't nothing big about it. Cam, go on the stream, burn, ladies and gentlemen. He won't. He's at work, ladies and gentlemen. The guy works every once in a while, ladies and gentlemen. We are anhedonic. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon Feck, 1 foot cock.